Savvy Scribe Podcast,
a podcast for healthcare professionals who are interested in starting their own health writing businesses.
I'm Janine, a registered nurse and your host. I'm a labor and delivery nurse, mom to these two incredible boys, wife to my best friend, and owner of two crazy Great Danes. I help nurses discover freelance writing as an extra income opportunity with help from my guests. Join us over on Facebook in the group Savvy Nurse Writer Community or SavvyNurseWriter.com to join our course and membership to create your own profitable writing business.
Enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Savvy Scribe Podcast. I'm Janine, your host, and today we are talking with Kareema Ryder, and she has 30 years plus in online marketing and specializes in helping small business owners develop marketing systems that convert clients to sales. And we're talking today all about just targeting clients. Like, how do we get them attracted to us instead of other type of writers? So listen in, take some notes, and thank you so much for listening. Hitting record. Okay. We are good. All right, Kareema, thank you for joining me here on the Savvy Scribe Podcast. We're talking today all about, targeting your ideal client and kind of getting them attracted to you as a nurse writer and healthcare writer. But first and foremost, I just want to ask you where you're from, how you got into online marketing, and your background, because you have such a long history of marketing. And, just tell us a little bit about it.
Well, as you can probably gather from my accent, I'm actually in Australia, on the east coast of Australia, about halfway between Sydney and Brisbane, so right on the Pacific Ocean. And it is currently 11 p.m. at night on Tuesday. So if you want to know what your night's going to be like, I can tell you.
And what's funny is, all of our, if you guys are watching the video right now in our membership group, she looks fantastic, everybody. She is looking fantastic at 11 p.m. I do not look like that. I don't even look, what is it, 9 o'clock in the morning here? I don't even look good at 9 o'clock in the morning. So, hey, you look wonderful.
I normally work in summer in a sarong, in winter in maybe a jumper, with my hair not done and no makeup on. So this is for you guys.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. All right, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So marketing. Well, online marketing is interesting because I'm in a matter of a few days' time, 9 days' time, I turned 62. So I've been around before online marketing even existed. And I first started sales and marketing as a part-time salesperson selling Avon door to door. This is a little hobby. Yeah, this is a little hobby. We'd moved into a new area and I knew no one. So we were building our first house. My husband and I were building our first house, and we were stony cold, motherless, broke. Now that was a world away from where we do marketing now, but in some respects it was exactly the same. Who is your target client? I mean, obviously I would knock on some doors, and how Avon works is you're just given a bank of streets. And they say, go knock on doors, get sales. So clearly, I would knock on every door. And if it was opened by a single male standing there who gave me a filthy look, then he wasn't my target client. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Move on. And from that, I sort of learnt that that there's a rule that I didn't know at that time, but I since know that 80% of your sales come from 20% of your clients. And so I had to learn who that 80% was.
Say that again for everybody.
80% of your sales come from 20% of your clients.
Perfect.
So you've got to learn who that 80% is. Sorry, who that 20% is, the other way, who that 20% is. And then you tread the fine line between how often do you have harassed them to get that sale. So I mean, that was a world away. There were no social medias. We could put out flyers. Basically, it was just, walking street after street after street after street and knocking on doors, leaving booklets, leaving order forms, following them up. And it was all very much face-to-face in those days. There was we didn't even have mobile phones in 1981. So yeah, it was knocking on doors. So at that time, I was working as a scientific officer, pathology technician in, can't remember which hospital I was working in, one of the big Sydney hospitals. So sales was not something I was actually considering as a career. It was just like, as I said, we had literally finished building our first home. We didn't have any money, and I wanted to do the landscaping. So it was basically, well, I can talk. I like makeup. I wanted makeup for myself, and the nice thing about Avon is you spend a lot of money on your own makeup. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So I stayed in pathology for quite some time, and then in '88, I got headhunted to go and work for Merck Sharp and Dohme, Australia. At that point, Merck Sharp and Dohme were the #1 pharmaceutical firm in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, Fortune 100. We weren't huge like they were the #1 in Australia, but also the #1 in the world. And that put me into the whole world of still face-to-face marketing. Online still didn't exist at that time. We had no Facebook, we had no social media. Again, it was driving up to a doctor's surgery, asking to go in and see the doctor, talking to the doctor about the products, selling the various prescription products that I had to sell. And in Australia, they can't advertise drugs like you guys can over in America. There's no advertising of products on TV or radio or in newspapers or anywhere. It's very highly regulated.
Interesting.
Yeah, which made it really difficult, because basically the only way the doctors found out about the products was by the sales reps coming in.
Yeah.
And again, that same 80-20 rule applied. I had this 20% of my, I can't remember the numbers, there's probably a bit over 1,000 doctors were on my books. It was quite a big geographical area. And I soon learned who were the ones that were my good prescribers. And that time working with Merck too, what I also learned from them, which was like, this is 1988, they taught us how to work out what our personalities were, what our baseline personalities were, how we took in information and imparted information, and how the person we were communicating with in a sales context for them, how they took in information and how likely they were to buy straight up. And what information needed to buy. So there's basically 4 quadrants. There's a driver who will about this. How many people have been trialed? They've got a long list, and they will need like 5 or 6 different calls before they will even consider trying. Then you've got the expressives, who are the party animals of this world. Oh, it's new. Oh, good. Is everybody else using it? Terrific. Then I better be using it. They're classic. They'll go into it. They'll go shopping and they'll buy everything, and their latest trends, latest handbags, like follow the Kardashians, all that sort of stuff. Then you've got the amiables, who want to buy because they think it's going to improve the life of their clients, or they've got a strong environmental bent to themselves, and it's going to improve the world. Again, we're still pre-online. I'm just trying to think. Online came around by the early 90s here in Australia. We were starting to get online. I was running chat rooms and things. I went from Merck Sharp and Dohme, had some time off while I was trying to have a baby, ended up working for Pfizer, who went on to become the #1 in the world, not while I was with them, but since. Then in 1995, I was in a head-on motor vehicle accident while working for Pfizer. I was nearly killed. And that put me out of the workforce for about 10 years while I rehabilitated myself. And I could never go back to working, like I couldn't go back to repping. Didn't want to go back to corporate life. My husband had said, I'm out of here. I had a young daughter, and that by then online was really starting to take off. So I just taught myself everything there is to know about online. Facebook, Google. In those days as marketers, what we did was we did everything. We did SEO, we did websites, we did landing pages, we did social media, we did paid ads, we did pretty well, you name it, we did it, because no one else was doing it. Nobody was teaching it. And so you just jumped in there and had a go. But again, the core principles of who are your target clients and how do you identify them and how do you adapt what you're doing to sell to them underpins marketing still. That's never changed for the decades. And so, years down the track, I've worked I've been an independent contractor since 1995. So I work for various people, either through ad agencies, so marketing agencies worldwide, as well as in Australia. For a long time, Australia was way behind what the Americans were doing. So I did a lot of work for Americans. And I basically am often the person behind the scenes. I'll say to someone, if you've seen a good ad on Facebook, then I might have done it. If it's a bad ad, then I had nothing to do with
it. Right.
Which is not always true. Sometimes it's shoppers. And so everything's changed. Like we started off with Facebook, or even before Facebook, we had like MySpace and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And none of those platforms then were considered advertising platforms. They were considered just places where people hung out and just, chatted to friends. If you think about how Facebook
I think a lot of that, like even before Facebook, I don't know if there was a platform. Was there a platform for paid advertisement?
We had chat rooms. We had a lot of chat rooms.
Just chat rooms. Okay.
Rooms.
Yeah.
Back in the MSN days, we had chat rooms, but again, they were social.
Yeah, I remember that. I think the first time I saw like ads, I think was probably when I was like reading blogs and I would see them on the blogs, that like advertisement. But I think social advertisement, I don't think was until Facebook. I think Google had their own stuff, but
it was really Facebook. Yeah, it was really Facebook. It was Mark Zuckerberg who saw a way to make money and went for it.
Right. And now, like, it's funny, if you don't adapt with the times, I see it in the local businesses. There's local businesses that still put all their money into billboards or mail stuff, which is fine. I mean, I'm sure it gets some people, but in reality,
it depends on the business, right?
And I guess the target audience.
Bingo, exactly. So
yeah,
there's a slide I have done up and it's in the blog on my website, and it basically says, who's your target clients? Where do they hang out? And what sort of content do they want to see? That's it.
Right.
That's marketing. Right. Full stop. So it doesn't matter where they hang out, and it doesn't matter what content, what they see. The trick to being successful at marketing is putting those three things together.
Yes.
Put those three things together and find the little spot in the middle where you've got the target clients, where they're hanging out, what they want to see. Bingo. That's it. That's as simple as it needs to be.
And sometimes we overcomplicate things and they don't need to be. And so tell me a little bit, Kareema, about your target client. Who is your target these days?
It's changed a lot. At my age, I'm less interested in being that, and I've been there, done that. I'm less interested in being that, make $80,000 a month marketing agency.
Right.
Been there, done that.
Right.
I don't want to work that hard anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, sometimes I don't even want to get out of bed before 10 or 11 a.m. in the morning. So what I tend now is I'm morphing more into the consultancy style person, doing podcasts and that sort of thing, and taking everything that's up here and often for free and just imparting it to what I call the next generation who are coming through.
Yeah. Helping.
But obviously I've got to have some money kicking over.
Yeah.
Mostly because I like to travel.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
So my target clients now, and I've moved. I won't work for the mums. Like I won't work for the mum and pop pizza shop on the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because most of them just don't want to touch the sort of money I want to ask, and mostly because, quite frankly, I get really bored doing that.
Right.
So a lot of my work at the moment, I'm working for an agency in Sydney, and he's got a lot of contracts with New South Wales government departments. So I'm writing marketing plans for them. And some of those marketing plans are like 60 to 90 pages long.
Yeah.
Who are their target clients? Where do they hang out? What is their infrastructure looking like? Is their branding consistent across all of the social media they've got, across their website? Often these places will have like 2 and 3 websites. how does it all fit together? And then a lot of also what I do in that space is a lot of number stuff. How many emails are going out a month? How many get opened? What's the click-through rates? If it's an e-commerce business, like I've audited the last 6 months, I've ordered 2 multi-million-dollar e-commerce businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Looking right down at the numbers, I'm very numbers driven. We go back to those baseline personalities. I'm an analytical. I can stare at numbers all day long and be quite perfectly happy. So I say I like to let the numbers tell me the story they're trying to tell me.
Absolutely.
And that's what I see a lot when people are looking at their marketing. I don't see them looking at the results of their marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of business owners, whether they're a single business person or whether they're a multi-million-dollar business, and I say, so how many people open your emails? I have no idea. They say, what's the click-through rates? You sent 5 emails a week. What was the results from those? I don't know. Why are you sending 5 emails? I don't know, because I thought I would. And I'm like, no, it's not how it works.
Well, like you said, like it does tell a story. Like if you're getting no opens on an email and you send it to a bunch of people and you're getting no open, let alone click through, no open. Obviously, it's your subject line. Something in that subject line did not capture them. Then if it's no click through,
or it's the wrong target client.
True. Yeah.
Could be a disconnect. Yeah.
And then if it's no click through, your copy, something in your copy isn't capturing them. So it does. Exactly. It definitely tells a story. And it does even when you're looking at blog posts that they've done. And you see the analytics and you're like, well, what should I write about next? Well, what they liked is obviously the stuff they're reading. So something about that topic again. So yes, numbers tell a story big time when it comes to marketing, for sure.
Yes, but you'd be surprised how many business owners don't look at their numbers. They have no idea.
They don't even look at their financial numbers.
Oh, some of them don't even look at that.
I know. God, it scares me. God, like, how do you do that?
I was talking to last year and I said, so she was trying to get over 2022. It was one of those stories of she had a great business idea that took off during COVID. Okay. I can't say what business idea was because I'm under non-disclosure, but it was just one of those businesses, right place at the right time. We were heavily locked down here in Australia.
In Victoria, you guys were.
In Victoria, which is near where this business was, they spent the best part of 2 years not even allowed outside their homes. Yeah. So her business took off. And I said, what's your profit margin on these products? She said, I don't know. And I said, so you're selling them for this amount. How much of that is sheer profit? She said, I don't know. I said, you've got a Shopify store. Maybe you might want to have a look at that.
Yeah.
She hadn't even set in the Shopify site. She hadn't even set the cost price of the product. And they were products coming in from the US. So I said, when you get a product in and you physically put it in the packaging and you send it to the client, you pay for the shipping and you pay for the product and not exclude all your advertising and all the rest of it and your staff you've got to pay to do all that. I said, how much do you make? She said, I have no idea. I said, well, you're going broke fast.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. You have no idea if you're profitable. Like, obviously, like the idea took off, but is it worth it? Like you still have to go a little further than the idea. Yeah. Well, and that goes into like pricing your services, even as an online service person. If you're pricing yourself too low, you might be making, $4 an hour and you don't even realize.
You're going out backwards, making nothing. And of course, her problem was COVID stopped and everything reopened again. And her product was very much being used because people couldn't go to pubs and clubs and restaurants and those places. And of course, everyone loved the product, but they said, well, we can go out now.
Yeah, we don't need it anymore.
Well, they do, because I'm still using the product because I really like it. It's actually a product that can do cocktails and coffee soups.
Oh yeah.
With 0 calories. So it's a great product. But so there's still a baseline there, but it never ceases to amaze me how people just don't know what their numbers are.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
It's scary.
I know. It's crazy. And I think too, but it's funny up front, before people invest in marketing services, they do want to know what their return's going to be. And then it's like we have to kind of guess, well,
Yeah.
what's your
Yeah.
market size? How many people are on your email list? And if they're just starting out, it's a long game. Like we don't know right away because we don't know what your target
We don't know
audience
what we
is,
don't
let
know.
alone if
Yeah.
they're interested.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can be very tough to give a client an answer for return on investment other than what you
Well,
see
you
that's
you
already out
often
there.
you often can't.
Right,
I mean, I
right.
will not answer the return on the investment question until I've got some proven data to work with for that client.
Yeah, exactly.
They
'Cause you
said that
can't.
you might have done this in other niches. I said, yes, I have, but that's not you.
Right. And they
That's
might have
not
had a bigger audience and they might have had even a slight difference in product or service that they offer can make a big difference in what they're doing. So yeah, it can be very challenging to predict the future is basically what they want you to do. But that's, that's just a hesitant buyer. They're just like, I don't know if I should put my money into this and da, da. Understandable. But this is
But
where advertising is now.
we never got any of those. Years ago when I was doing radio and television ads, I would
Yeah.
have been laughed off the planet if I'd have said to the radio and television people, so tell me how many sales I'm going to get out of this.
Right.
They would have looked at me and said, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Like, yeah, we don't know. Like, it's your product, your service. We have no idea.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing like online these days. This is where advertising is. And that's not to say TV's not working. That's not to say, radio's not working. There's things for that for sure. But like even think about the days when there was like primetime TV, right? And like I don't know, like Friends, the show Friends was on, and everybody was around their TV at 8:30 at night because that's when it came on, and that's how TV networks knew the show was going to be good or not. Now it's like they don't even know because everything's streamed. We don't need to sit in front of our TV at 8:30 p.m. because we could watch it tomorrow or next week. So it's just times are changing, and companies, you have to roll with the changes or you're going to be left in the dust. And that's so actually transitioning into a question I have, talking about rolling with the changes. Have you experimented with AI technology?
I'm starting to. I was looking at it with great interest as it was all starting to roll out. I'm starting to. I'm a little bit skeptical about it. So, and not only is it have I experimented with it at the level at which I'm at, I'm also part of some fairly expensive paid marketing groups, and these are some of the best marketers in the world, and cost me an arm and a leg to be in there every month. But nonetheless, so between what I'm finding and what they're finding, and that the thing went around the internet when all the chat AI, when all the AI systems opened up for copy and all that, a lot of us said the thing happened around the groups, who's worried? I'm a copywriter and I'm just about to lose my job sort of thing, or I do copy for websites. And I said, no, you're not. Because the chats, it's pretty good.
It's very good. I mean, it does a pretty good job.
Yes and no. If you really, and I've done a lot of copywriting over the years as well. In fact, I still do a lot of copywriting, and I do a lot of editing of copy that I see, because 99% of copy is not written correctly. Not written correctly in that it won't convert.
Right.
See the difference? Anyone can get on there and say, my business does A, B, C, and D, and I do E, F, and G, and I'm fantastic, and blah, 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 and I am, and I do, and I can. That won't convert.
No, it will not. It's all about you.
Yeah, it's all about you. And I'm reading it as the reader, and I'm going, bah humbug.
Yeah. Oh, how full are they of themselves?
Well, it's not so much that they're full of themselves. It's just that the reader turns off.
Of course. Yeah.
Because it's like, but I know what my problems are. You've got 3 seconds to engage them.
Yes.
That's a super scary amount of time.
Yeah.
The limited time, and if you don't get them initially, and that's a lot of the work I do now, I go through like websites and emails and things like that, and I say, this is never going to convert. If we just change, it's a bit hard to see when we're online, but I say, take the bit you've got there and move it up the top and then talk about it. You've always got to open with, your problem is such and such. I can fix that by doing blah. Here's the reason why I'm good at doing blah. Now I want you to do this, click this link or call me or book a call or whatever that looks like.
Right.
And And you see that all the time. You see places where you just look at it and you say, we're just going to swap this paragraph around. There was an audit I did on a website the other day, and she buried right at, so I'm on a 27-inch computer screen now, and right at the bottom of the 27-inch screen was the most important thing she'd said. I flicked in and looked at it on a mobile, and I said, you've got to scroll for about 2 years to get to that very important thing.
And nobody will do that. Nobody's going to scroll for 2 years.
No, they won't do it. They're gone. Yeah. And I said, you've wasted. I said, this is the most powerful statement you have all on your website. And of course, it was in small font as well.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah. There's like, and it's funny, like, and testing's all about marketing too. Like, you have to test things. So maybe she moves that up. She sees conversions. Maybe she doesn't. You move it down a little more, check it again, see, but you got to give it time, and things take time. But once you get it, it's like, oh, okay, good, this works. And it's so exciting too, as a marketer, to see results, like see your stuff working. You're like, oh, okay, it does work. It does work.
Oh, but someone's found it. Oh, yeah. I got one of the first sales off a Shopify store tonight, and I'm like,
it's exciting.
I sold $42 worth of product.
Yeah, I did it. It's working. It's working.
Someone found it.
So let's go back again a little bit to target clients. So my audience listening to this are nurses becoming healthcare writers, right? Freelance. And I think we should just tackle those like 3 questions, right? Who are they? How do we get them attracted to us as nurse writers? And maybe even how to then close them on a sale after discovery call, after we finally get them interested. Can you dive into those 3 points?
So who are they? Now that's going to be quite variable. So you've just said they're nurse writers, but I mean, that's it's huge. It's a huge group of, are they people writing about cancer? Are they people writing about menopause? Are they people writing about birthing issues? So the biggest thing I find when people are doing targeting for clients, they say, oh, it's any woman aged between 18 to 65.
Right.
Living in the US of A. No, it's not.
And sometimes we want to think that way, right? We want to think we are healthcare writers. We want everyone. But if it's everyone, you're going to get no one. And don't be scared to just say, I write about oncology. That is my specialty. That is what I'm known for. That is what I know the most about. And that's what I like to write about. Even if you have all the experience in oncology, you don't like to write about it. Don't write about it, because you're going to hate your job. So I think, like targeting.
So when I'm targeting, I say to people, stop targeting the group and target the individual. So I sit there when I'm doing the targeting, and I say, I get a picture in my head of what, let's say it is a woman that the female that you're targeting. Right. What does she look like? Brown hair, blonde hair, black hair. How old is she? Does she have kids? Doesn't she have kids? Are they older kids, younger kids? What did she have for breakfast? Where does she shop? What car does she drive? I know none of that's relevant to your topic, but you're much better off when you're marketing if you get 3 very strong images in your head. And you write everything, your copy, your website, your posts, everything with Julie in your mind. And in the earlier days, I used to actually write, Julie, and she looks like this, and she gets up at 6 a.m. and she's a morning person, not an evening person. And she, likes Weet-Bix for breakfast, or, that it's a really, really long list. The longer, the better. And then when I'm sitting and writing copy or, posts or anything, I've got the image of Julie in my head, and I'm writing what I'm writing to Julie. And that's how, if you get it really personalized, you're going to get much more engagement going on. You don't call her Julie, obviously, in the copy, but and you really niche down into your target clients. You're going to have some target clients, even within your nurse writers, They're going to have the target clients of the people who are ill with that problem, you know, or have that problem and they're recovering from it, or they've got it, or they're dealing with it, or whatever. Then you're also going to have the second niche, which is going to be the people who treat that problem.
Okay.
So never forget that group, because they're going to become your advocates for you. They're going to be the ones that are going to follow you as writers, whether it's a book or a podcast or blogs or even social media posts. And they're going to become your advocates. And they're going to be the ones sitting out there with your target clients coming in and out and going, you know what you've just been diagnosed with cancer. You know what you should also be following, and you should be also reading the stuff from this particular writer I've been following, because Jish is great. Jish really knows the stuff. Doctors won't read what you're doing.
Right.
These are mostly your allied health professionals. So they're always your two very distinct markets. But the more that target client can be fleshed out, the better.
So what about, like, you know, that kind of sounds like it'd be a target client's target client. Does that make sense? So like Julie might be
In terms of the allied health professional,
in terms of like a oncology practice, or even like a cancer center that they're treating all these patients, and Julie might be a patient.
Yep.
What about the oncology cancer center, where we're saying we should write for you?
Well, yeah, that is the people are going to advocate for you.
Okay, I see what you
mean.
Yeah,
they're like your. So you've got your business to I know business to consumer and business to business are like e-commerce terms, but they apply in your situation as well. So your business to consumer is the person who's got the problem.
The Julie.
Yeah. The business to business is the person who sees your target clients.
Gotcha.
And who is going to engage you because they know they're looking for a resource. So think about what they're doing day to day. They're sitting there with the Julies who come in day after day after day, and you're going to be able to provide them with a valuable resource to help their clients.
Yes.
And you're going to value add to their services. So you talk to them. Their needs are different to the person who has the problem. The person who has the problem needs to know all about it, how it works, what it's, what is the treatments for it, what's the cures, blah, 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 blah. I'm wireframing a New South Wales Department of Health website at the moment, all about hepatitis B, C, AIDS, and sexual health.
Mm-hmm.
Page after page of treatments, information, treatments, prognosis. It's driving me insane.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, and you don't even, like, when you start to write that stuff, you don't want all of that in one post because it's too overwhelming. You have to break stuff down, and even break it down from that level where you already broke it down to really answer every single question that patient could possibly have. And even like another blog post or another area for them to read more and more about. But yeah, so go ahead.
So I was just going to say, so your target clients are have two quite different needs.
Yeah.
You talk to the target client who's got the problem in a different way to, if I'm selling that service to the practice manager, then it's going to be about, I've got this fantastic service I can offer you that you're going to find helpful, and it's going to differentiate your business from everybody else is doing what you're doing everywhere else. So you're going to be able to give better service to your clients because I can help you with this resource that I can write for you. Your blogs, all that sort of thing. I wrote blogs for a doctor in Queensland many years ago. Mm-hmm. He ahead of his time. This was like back in 96 or 97. And he was yeah, exactly. And it was like, it blew me away. He was into educating his patients, not just getting them in and treating them, but educating them. Like, why should you have a shingles vaccine? I've seen, I talked to his practice manager, say, she'd say, like, we're seeing all these flu cases come in this, the last couple of weeks. So we need a blog about, the flu and how we can help and, and how you can not get the flu. this was before COVID, so I can imagine what he was writing during COVID time. So I got that job because I was able to, with my pathology background, I was able to differentiate his practice from all the stack of practices around him, where all they had was people just coming in, getting treated and going out.
Yep.
He wanted them to be, I'm trying to say it's not a good word, but he wanted them to be more educated. He wanted them to have knowledge about what the disease states were, and he wanted to educate them on prevention, which was really rare back in 96, 97, trust me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and then in this day and age, you could do the same thing. It's just you kind of market yourself better, saying like, I am a nurse who has oncology experience, so I want to write for your cancer center because I have this background. I'm not any Joe Blow that just came off the street who wants to write a blog. I have this experience, and this will help you even on Google to note that this is creditable information and accurate.
Well, tie that in with your question about AI.
Yeah.
Every man and his dog is going to be getting on AI and saying, I know how to do copy for cancer.
Yes.
All you're going to do is do it. Get your listeners to go and stick some stuff about an area they know about that's quite complex. Stick it into AI and watch them be able to poke holes in some of the ridiculous stuff that's being said out there.
And you know what? You do that and you read it, and it's very general. All the stuff AI does is very general, where we can add in a lot of specifics and really, I don't know if you've done it. Like I've seen like LinkedIn posts that people do, and it's like, guess which one is written by AI. And every time I can get it because I'm like, AI is so general. It gives you information, which is fine, but it's not engaging.
All AI is doing is going onto the internet and seeing all the crap that's sitting on the internet. It's got no way of telling whether it's good crap or bad crap.
Yes, exactly.
I played around just recently. So one of my e-commerce sites, as well as being a marketer, I'm a Reiki healer in animals and an animal communicator. And I sell leads and collars and that sort of stuff. So I was having trouble with this e-commerce store because I went to some marketers and said, I need some copy for some Facebook ads. And it bombed. And I went, well, I've got a problem here. So AI came up and I went into the AI and I plugged in the topics of, what is an animal communicator? What is a Reiki person for animals? What is Reiki? All that sort of stuff. And I looked at 3/4 of the copy and went, this is absolute garbage. Because all it did was pick up the so if there's you heard the saying, garbage in, garbage out?
Yeah.
If it's picking up all this garbage that's out there on the internet, so it's just going to keep regurgitating the garbage.
Yeah, it is a robot. Like it doesn't have a brain. However, giving credit to AI, I do encourage you guys to play with it. Absolutely. And see which areas of your job and your life you can make it easier. For example, if you put into AI that you want a meal plan for your dinners for the next 2 weeks that all contain chicken, you can get a ton of recipes, like that stuff, because it spits it out. It spits it all out, and it's easy. And then even on your business side, there's ways, play with it, ask it to do different things. And there's ways it can definitely help you. However, what we're saying is it's not going to replace the human because it's too general, especially in the area where we're in. So, yeah.
I mean, they've talked about AI in marketing in Facebook ads for some time, and there's now even companies going into, you only pay a couple of $100 and they set up all your Facebook ads using these sorts of processes. But the thing is, most of them still won't convert.
Right.
Because they're not using strategy. And they're just pumping out the same old garbage that's out there that everybody else is pumping out. And most of the copy that's going out there is not differentiating the person. The only person that can differentiate ourselves is us.
Right.
Because we know what makes us different from everybody else doing the same thing out there.
Right. Which almost makes it like back in the 90s when you're knocking on the doors and stuff. Yeah, it probably was a slower acquisition of getting clients in the door, but it was definitely more personal and definitely there was definitely some strengths, and I think there's still something to be said to have those face-to-face conversations, Zoom face conversations. That's why we do discovery calls. That's why, things aren't always communicated best via email. You do have to hop on a call sometimes. And,
Yeah.
there was some benefits. I think,
Yeah.
we see it as people growing up in the like less hands-off kind of communication all the time. Then we're stuck in a pandemic, and you can tell we do crave human communication. We do want to see people.
Yep.
Like, it's just a
Yep.
human nature. But so let's open up the floor a little bit to some questions for you, Kareema, if you're up for it. But
Yeah,
first,
absolutely.
I want
Not a
to
problem at all.
I want you to do a little plug on where people can find you. And I know you have a YouTube channel. But yeah, tell us a little bit where people can find you and follow you over on social.
Just seeing if will this go into chat? Hang on. I'm wondering if this will go into chat. Yeah, there it is. There's my chat links, and the website is also this. So probably the place where I'm doing most of what I'm doing now is I know YouTube's been out there for years, but I've just over the last few years had the chance to really spend time literally trying to get everything in my brain, not everything, but stuff that's in my brain out and onto YouTube. It's been a different, I've got a stack of blogs on my website and all that. I must admit, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, I don't put an awful lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I should. It's one of those don't do as I say, don't do as I do as I say sort of things. I should be doing a lot more content. YouTube's suiting me better because I literally turn the camera on and I just talk to it. Although I do go in with the topic. I try to go in with the topic, put it that way. So that's the sort of follows. The other thing I do a lot of that might be useful for your group of followers is that I'm totally happy to do within reason to do complementary marketing audits. Now they're not the 60-90 page jobs. I'm happy, like someone will say, I'll say, what's your website? Give me your social media pages. And basically in the space of 30 minutes, I'll do a video that says, this is good, this is not so good, if you this there and that there, and and whatever comes as I'm looking. And the link to getting and requesting one of those is on the website.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, thank you, Kareema, for all of your knowledge, for all of your advice and whatnot. We're going to let you go to bed now. How about that?
Well, it'll be a good couple of hours before I can go to sleep. But anyway.
You're a night owl.
I am now. I never used to be, but I am now.
Well, we thank you. Thank you.
I'm addicted to true crime. I'm addicted to the live law and crime network stuff coming out of the US courts.
There you go.
You know what time they start up? About 1 a.m. Australian time. The Letitia Stausch trial is on in wherever that's on. I forget where it is. And like they start broadcasting that live on Law and Crime about 1 a.m. in the morning. And I like,
oh, you got an hour left.
I got an hour left. And I'll sit.
Well, thank you again.
2 a.m. or something. All right, sounds good.
We invite you back to share more of your knowledge, whatever. We'll let you know when this episode goes live. And again, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it so much.
Pleasure.
That's a wrap for today's episode of The Savvy Scribe. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, we'd love for you to subscribe and leave a review on iTunes or your favorite podcast app. Until next time.